better. Let me show you today's project. It is another useful project because that's what I try to present. This is the Poinsettia pot of flowers. It is a gift card holder. I'm pretty happy with it. I was inspired by the beautiful pot of poinsettias that my mother gifted me. And you know, when at Christmas time, when they pot up the poinsettias, they wrap it up in that flashy red foil cellophane paper-like. And so that's what I was shooting for here. I have all the beautiful poinsettias up at the top. And when you pull it open, you can see that's where the gift card is revealed. And you can tuck that back away. And we've got a nice little gift card holder that also looks like a pot of poinsettia flowers. So this could be constructed to fit into the larger envelope I'm going to show you, which is still standard shipping. You can kind of see I went a little bit overboard on where I placed my flowers. So if you're a little more conservative and you place them a little further down in the pot, it will fit in the, let's see, this is the 6.5 by 5 inch envelope, which requires just one standard US postage stamp, and it's not too weighty, so it should make it through with just the one postage stamp. And again, you just have to push your flowers down. Now, if you want to do it a little bit more elaborate, like I did, and you're going to be presenting it in person, it does fit in our 6 by 8 cello envelopes really nicely. So it's going to get some protection. Just slide that in and present it that way. So again, I'm pretty happy with this pretty pot of poinsettias. You slide out the card and there you've got the gift card presentation. And that's kind of like what I'm working on right now as we get pretty close to Christmas. I'm starting to wrap up and gift up, so I'm ready to go. So let's get started. I'm going to walk you through constructing it and tell you a little bit about the products as I go along. So I'm going to put that right to the side. And you're going to notice first off that the focus of the project is that beautiful poinsettia paper. It is still available on sale. It's only $8.05. Thank you, Debbie. Debbie says lovely. I think it's pretty myself. So virtually this project has very little stamping, one little tag, and I'm going to share with you where that tag came from. I hand snipped those poinsettias from the designer series paper, and I want you to notice that I am going all the way up to the edge. I'm not wasting any of the flowers. Just because I don't have a whole flower, I'm still going to pull in those edges there, those partial flowers. They still are very useful. So the poinsettia petals paper, I'm also using the foil paper, the red and green foil paper. You get 2 sheets of red and 2 sheets of green, 12 by 12, still available. This would also work well for Valentine's Day. What I've done, and I pre-cut and I pre-embossed. I'm going to share with you the dimensions in just a second. This has been soft embossed, meaning the embossing folder. You can see the pretty snowflakes on it, and I stole the idea from that pot of flowers. My pot of flowers has pretty red paper that way. I achieved my snowflakes with the embossing folder, which is on that sale. It's only $3.75. It's half price still, and it's still available. So that's how I got those pretty snowflakes on my paper. And I'm also using, okay, I've pre-cut. These are my flowers from the designer series paper. I cut 4, and you can see I went ahead and I used the flowers that go right up to the edges, so there's no waste. And I'll show you when I'm arranging my flowers. I just kind of tuck those behind, and you'll never know that the entire flower is not there. So I used 4 of those flowers. I've got 2 sheets or 2 cuts of the red foil paper. One measures 4 inches by 4 1/4, and the second one measures 2 inches by 4 1/4, so 2 pieces there. I have also got a piece of the thick Whisper White, and I cut it vertically, so it's 4 1/4 by 11. And I'm trying to shift over to some Very Vanilla paper. Did I say Whisper White? Didn't mean to do that. I'm trying to shift some projects over to the Very Vanilla because Stampin' Up! Is going to run into a no Whisper White situation pretty soon. The manufacturer of the Whisper White is another COVID casualty. So there is going to be a new manufacturer, and they are going to be creating basic white paper, not available yet, but in case there's any gap of availability, I'm going to be using my Very Vanilla, which is still really nice paper. So I've got that, and this is the thick Very Vanilla. And I also need a cut of Very Vanilla, the standard weight, and this one measures 2 3/4 by 6 1/4, and it's going to be mounted atop Pear Pizzazz at 6 1/2 by 3 inches. This is the card that slips into the pot that holds the gift card. And I have pre-cut 3 of my holly leaves. They are not only cut, they're embossed, and those come from the Poinsettia Petals bundle. The dies and the stamp set are still available at bundle price. So this bundle, which was the first one I eyed when I opened the holiday catalog, is going to continue in a new catalog, but it's not going to be available at the bundle savings. So if you don't have it yet, you can still pick it up at bundle price. So I'm using 3 of those leaves. They were embossed and cut at the same time, and I cut them from Pear Pizzazz. And I also cut a couple of the sprigs of branches in gold foil. And let's see, the ribbons I'll share with you as I move along, and the punch, and I think I'm going to get started on construction. So I gave you the measurements. I'm going to push those out of the way. I'm going to pull up the card base, which is the 4 1/4 by 11 inches. This is the thick Whisper White, and I'm going to do some scoring to get me started. I'm going to score at 2 inches. Oops, I'm going to need my extension here. I'm going to score at 2 inches, and I'm going to move my cutting blade out of the way right here. 1 score. So now I'm going to have to push it up to, let's see, 6 1/2. So 2 and 4 1/2. And the 6 1/2, it's right on that bridge of the arm. You can't see it on the regular measuring tool. It's on the bridge right there. I'm going to score that down, and I'm going to push this aside for just a second, and I'm going to burnish this down. I'm going to use my bone folder, and I'm going to burnish down on those score lines. So there's 1, and then I'm going to flip it and fold over the other direction. Looks like I didn't do a perfect job of scoring, which I kind of am going to fix now. I can kind of force it and see if I can fix that. It's off just the tiniest bit. There we go. All right, so there is our flower pot base. I'm still going to do a little bit of punching and cutting on it. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to want rounded corners. I'm going to bring in my detailed trio punch and just round the corners here. This is going to be the little brim of the pot. Whoops, I didn't do a very good job on that. Let me see if I can fix it still. There, better. And I'm also going to round that 2-inch red foil paper. I'm going to round 2 of the corners that are going to be adhered over top of the Very Vanilla. So that's going to go here. Not yet though. I'm going to do a little bit of cutting. I'm going to form the flower pot shape, and I'm going to measure in 1/2 inch on both sides and then trim down. So I'm just going to bring in a pencil, and since I'm on the grid paper right here, I'm going to measure in 1/2 inch from each side, right down at the very bottom, and again on the other side. So I've got a 1/2 inch mark here and a 1/2 inch mark here. I'm going to open up that flap for just a second, and I'm going to bring in my trimmer, my mini trimmer, and put it on the cutting blade. I'm going to put that 1/2 inch mark right on the blade, and I'm going to push over the top of the pot. Let's see if this is going to work for me. I think I used, I might need to fold that over. This, let's see. There we go. And I'm kind of worried about that part. Let me bring in my bigger trimmer. When I did it earlier, I think I was on my jumbo hatchet trimmer. So here we go. I'm going to put this on the track, and I'm going to come up and I'm going to put the other one over, the other end over on the track, way up at the beginning. So I've got a little angle going on here, and I'm going to have to apply quite a bit of pressure because I'm going through 2 layers of thick Whisper White. So pushing down hard. There we go. And I'm going to do the other side as well. I'm going to flip it over, and I've got that 1/2 inch mark there, and I've got this portion right here on the track as well. So the other thing I had going on, you can see my bandage there. I had a battle with the skewer for my chicken shish kebab. I was not having a good week, I guess. There we go. There is my flower pot. That's going to be folded over. It's already starting to look pretty cute. So I've got my flower pot shape here. I'm going to use my liquid adhesive. I'm going to seal up the edges of the flower pot. And I'm just going to do a tiny, tiny trail because I want to have enough space for my insert card that's going to hold my gift card holder. So here we go. And I'm find this year I'm either giving cash or gift cards, so I'm needing a lot of these holders, and I like the variety I've had this year. So whether they're the recipients older, younger, male, female, I've got a card holder or money holder for almost every audience here. There we go. And I'm just going to adhere this on the edges, and I'm going to decorate the flap and the front of the pot. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the base, and I'm going to do the same as I did. Let's see. I'm going to do the same as I did with the flower pot. I'm going to measure in 1/2 inch from each side and bring in that shape. So just going to do a quick pencil mark and a pencil mark on the other side, and I'm going to use my trimmer. Actually, I think I'm just going to adhere it and hand snip. That way I know I've got it right. So didn't need to mark. You can tell I'm kind of still frazzled. The skunking and the bathing and the smell and all the washing we've had to do, because of course the Scotties ran in the house when they got skunked, and they're trying to brush off that spray that the Mr. Skunk gives them, and they wiped on all the bedding, the new bed included. Yeah, Winston had just gotten a new pet bed, and it's now got skunk smell. So we washed and washed and washed and rewashed. I think it's finally ready for him. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to flip this over and hand snip to shape the pot. Just going to bring it right up the side right here. And that'll give me the shape of the flower pot. And the same on the other side. Let's see if I can do it on this side. So I'm almost ready for Christmas. I still have a batch of cards I need to get out. I have wrapping to do. I've done most of the shopping. A lot of it was online, but I also got out into to some of my favorite stores to shop as well. So pretty happy about that. There we go. So I've got the front of the flower pot. I'm going to bring this, fold this over. The other flap goes right here on the brim of the flower pot. So I'm going to use my favorite Tombow adhesive again. This is perfect because it's a nice aggressive adhesive, and it's forgiving, and it's very economical. So the price is right. It is a knockout job all the time, and it's friendly. Some of the other adhesives and I do not get along. So here we go, and I'm going to slip that right up to the edge. I've got this secured down, and I'm going to go ahead and burnish that down using my bone folder on the other side. Make some nice contact so it's nice and secure. There we go. And I am going to put a bow on this, and I'm using the Very Vanilla metallic edge ribbon. This comes from the main catalog. It's the satin ribbon. It's got the nice gold detail on the edges here. I have pre-cut a length. It's about 23 inches. I'm going to wrap it around the brim of the flower pot. It looks like I cut way too much too. What was I thinking, right? Usually I don't cut until I've tied my bow, and I've got way too much on here. So let's see. Who knows what I was thinking? So I'm going to bring that over. I know I want it off to the side, and I should have had my glue dot at the ready because that's usually helpful. How do you tie your bows? Do you get somebody to help you out, or do you use a glue dot? I find the glue dot really helpful because it helps me be the boss of the ribbon. And it really does just get covered up with the ribbon. It's not going to show through. So I'm just going to kind of get that to hold into place while I can tie the bow. And you can see I like to do those perpendicular ties right there, and just bring it around and then bring it right through, and pretty happy there. That's a little bit off there, and I'm going to trim that down. Looks like I cut about 3 inches too much. Yikes. I'm usually not wasteful. I'm usually pretty practical, and well, let's just call it, I'm usually pretty stingy with the ribbon. Okay, so I want that little brim to be up just slightly, so I'm going to bring in a couple of dimensionals, and I'm going to put them right underneath the brim. And so when I fold it over, there is going to be a little bit of height to it. Yes, Barbara, I think the glue dot is helpful. It's just easier because, you know, it's always nice to have a friend too to help you out, but that glue dot, I guess, is my friend when nobody's around, and I want to be the boss of the ribbon. So there we go. It's looking pretty cute, right? I love the embossing. Those little snowflake embossing makes it look really festive. My pot is ready. It looks like I'm going to be doing a little bit of trimming, but I'm just going to set this aside for now and bring in the card, the insert. And I've got 2 layers. I've got the Whisper White, which is 2 3/4 by 6 1/4, and I've got the Pear Pizzazz, which is 3 by 6 1/2. This is just going to be adhered right atop. Again, the liquid adhesive. And just going to give it about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. So this is going to be slipped right inside the flower pot. Let's see if I can do that carefully. Hopefully I adhered it and it's stuck already. And I do this just to test where I'm going to be laying my flowers. And here's where you have that dilemma if you want to put your flowers closer to the brim so that they fit inside the envelope. If you extend a little, there we go. And you just want to make sure that you are leaving some clearance here over the brim of the flower pot. So there we go. So the next flower parts, I'm going to be lifting with the Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this in. This is why I say it doesn't really matter if you use those flowers that are right on the edges. You can still get the pretty petals there. This is going to go towards the center of the arrangement, so it's not really going to be noticeable that you didn't use the entire flower. So you can still make use of all the flowers on your beautiful paper. And I'm just going to kind of make that peek over, and this is why I'm putting it on dimensionals. I want it to be able to pop over here. It's going to kind of stop the card from going in too far. So my other one that has that straight edge to it, I'm going to put it up at the top over here, have it peeking out there, and again just bring in that straight edge towards the center of the card. It's going to be overlapped, or it's going to be the underlayer anyway. So if I bring that in here, you're going to see the next one I'm going to put in. I'm going to put it, cover it up like so. So again, dimensionals. Make these little flowers pop out of the pot. And it's just a little flower arranging that you're going to be doing. Make sure you can get your prettiest petals out in plain view. Now here's the thing, the final one that goes right in front is going to be double dimensionals, which means I'm going to be stacking the dimensions, double stacking the dimensionals right up here. So let's see, I'm trying to decide whereabouts I need to put the dimensionals so that they are not popping out. So all I'm doing is putting one dimensional there, two, and then I'm going to double stack them here. So we've got extra height right through here, and it kind of goes up and over here. So now you can see it doesn't matter that those other flowers had that straight edge to them. Pops way up. And I'm going to add in the little gold sprigs here. I'm going to use a glue dot, and I'm just going to place them right behind one of the flowers. So I want a little bit poking through way up here, just like so. I'm going to try to bring it in. There we go. And the other one's going to be on the left-hand side, kind of flowing over this direction. There we go. Secure that down into place. It's almost done. What do you think? I'm liking it. I hope you like it. Now to add a little tag, I'm going to come back to the stamp set, and I'm going to take the Happy Holidays greeting, and I am going to put it on a cute little tag that comes from the trio of tags. This is a die that cuts 3 small tags at the same time. Really sweet die set. It does coordinate with a couple of stamp sets in the main catalog, and I'm just using a Whisper White that's about 2.5 inches by about 5 inches. And what I love about this tiny little die, look at this. I'm going to bring in my new little best friend, that mini cut and emboss machine. It's so easy. And it seems like you don't have to work as much because it's just such a small area that you need to cut. So you're not cranking through the entire platform like you are with the regular machine. And yet you're going to get these nice little cuts. This works perfect for many dies and for some of the smaller embossing folders. So this is going to be my January product of the month, this mini cut and emboss machine. So now I've got 3 cute little tags, and they already have the little hole punch in there, each one. I chose this one. It goes perfect with the Happy Holidays greeting that I chose from the stamp set. I'm just going to go ahead and stamp in Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I should have my piercing mat. It is not within hand's reach, so I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that I do a decent job stamping here. It's a very small sentiment. Hoping I don't muff it up. There we go. Pretty. Happy holidays. All right, and I am going to be hanging it from my flower pot. What I'm using is some of the gold cord. The gold cord came from the Wonder of the Season ribbon combo pack. You get both spools. You get the shaded spruce and you get that gold cording. Right now it is still available on the year-end closeout. It's half price, which means you get both spools for $4.50. A great deal. Both of those ribbons are very handy. So I'm going to come in with my gold cord, and I just need probably like maybe 6 inches. So I'm going to trim that off. I'm going to bring in my tag right through here. And I'm just going to attach it, slip it right underneath my ribbon. And I'm going to do a little knot. I'm not sure what kind of knot this is called. So I've got both ends together. I'm just going to loop it and bring them both through at the same time. And I might need to do a little bit of trimming. Just going to bring that through. And one more thing, I kind of like to be the boss again of the label, of the little tag. So I'm going to bring in another glue dot and slip it right underneath that tag so that it hangs the way I want it to hang, right through there. Attach that there. And I'm looking to see if my ribbon scissors are handy. I don't see them on my table. Here they are. I want to snip off the cord a little bit, and I want to shorten the ribbon tail here. And there you go. There is my poinsettia pot with gift card holder. Such a cute little poinsettia pot. I know when I go visit people at the holidays, my mom in particular, I like to take the pot of poinsettias. Here we go. Here's my spin on it. It's got the gift card right inside. So what a great way to present a gift, the poinsettia pot of flowers.